2013 has been a big year for the European food and nutrition industry. And with 2014 just around the corner, FoodNavigator and NutraIngredients have teamed up with Mintel to ask them what their highlights have been for this year and what may be in store for next year. First, we asked the Mintel experts what their highlights have been for this year.
It's been a really interesting year, particularly in terms of mergers and acquisitions. In the both the sweet spreads and sauces category, we've seen Unilever divesting in a couple of brands. Right at the start of the year, they sold global peanut butter brand Skippy to Hormel. Equally, towards the back end of the year, Unilever has sold US salad dressing brand Wishbone. Of course, the really big news happened in table sauces, with the world's biggest merger and acquisition, with Warren Buffett, America's favourite investor, deciding to take over Heinz with 3G Capital. So again, maybe not necessarily showing much from a consumer point of view, but huge news in the industry, and that's really reinvigorated the industry in terms of saying, actually, now's a good time to start seeing some mergers and acquisitions. We might see a knock-on effect about 2014 with a lot more divestments. Big companies looking to generate cash, smaller companies looking to expand, so that's really exciting.
2013, we've seen a lot of media attention given to sugar. It continues to be demonised as the bad nutrient. There's been a lot of evidence coming out around the negative consequences of excess sugar. So the push to de-sweeten our diets and to de-sweeten food and drink products continues. So this has seen the increase in the use of intense sweeteners in food and drink products. Also in 2013, there's been a rise of meat-free and vegetarian products. So we've seen a lot of consumers move towards becoming kind of part-time vegetarians. So they're not completely giving away meat, but the health benefits of vegetarian products are making them experiment more and try out meat-free producs.
So I guess in the last year what we've seen is that Western markets have tended to remain quite mature in alcohol. But we've seen that certain kind of bright spots, like we've seen spirits do really, really well now on the back of some really good innovation. But a lot of the market growth is still coming from the developing world, and in particular Asia, and we're seeing some quite interesting things in Asia in terms of more women coming into the alcohol category, and we're seeing growth rates that Western markets could only dream about, really.
And with 2013 heading to a close, we asked Mintel where the industry might be heading in 2014.
The first thing we really think is going to happen is internationalism is really going to be on the agenda. We've definitely had this period where Britain's really been in the limelight. We've had this focus on brand Britannia and patriotic purchasing due to various royal events and sporting events. What's going to happen next year, we think attention is really going to switch to products and services from other countries. And we've got lots of data at Mintel which says that we're just as interested in buying authentic products from other countries as we are from Britain. So consumers really seem interested and ready to buy into that. So I think there's a lot of potential for that to happen.
So I think if we look at alcohol, I think we're going to see more of a skinny trend. So certainly in the US, we're seeing this real desire for skinny cocktails, skinny spirits. And whereas people just used to worry about the calories of the foods and perhaps the soft drinks that they drank, people are increasingly actually looking at the alcohol drinks. They really want to know how many calories it actually contains. They don't want it to be too calorific.
We really think the world's going to fall in love with Brazilian products and services. There's going to be so much extended focus on Brazil for the next sort of couple of years. It's quite a unique situation with the World Cup and the Olympics. So there's huge potential to buy into lots of Brazilian products, particularly in food as well. So I know all the wine associations in Brazil are trying to sort of double their exports in the next couple of years as well. We think there's huge potential, having spoken to our analysts about not just things like Brahma beer, which we know about, but things like cachaça as well. Things like acai berries as an ingredient for breakfast. There seems to be huge potential around that.
So 2014, I think we're going to continue to see the spread of protein, so high protein food products. So it started in America, but I think it's going to continue to come to Europe. So protein's not just going to be used to build muscle, it's also being used to promote satiety and increase the satiety of food products. Also, I think that we're going to continue to see the rise of suitable foods that are specifically tailored to population groups, so gluten-free products and vegetarian products, I think are going to continue to rise as consumers demand those customised food and drink products.
Another trend called a private function, and that's really going to look at how the functionality of people's data and the privacy surrounding people's data is going to become a real key issue in 2014. Now, part of that is because of the ongoing fallout from all the sort of NSA scandal, but it's also due to things like Google Glass coming on the market. So I think consumers are going to buy into things like encryption technology and try and be more private They're also going to want to analyse themselves as well. I think that's something that comes hand in hand with wearable technology. So I think there's huge potential for things like consumers to do more sort of data analysis about what they're consuming. So when we talk to consumers, I think we get very encouraging responses for the proportion who are interested in things like opt-in services, where maybe if you shop with the same grocer every month, you can get a nutritional analysis of your basket content. So we think that's something consumers will be looking more and more at next year. Certainly what food and drink products mean for their bodies, and also doing sort of nutritional statements about what they're consuming every month.
The big news is back in 2013, BMJ report, is saturated fat as bad for you as it really as ever previously thought it had been. Lots of studies previously have linked high saturated fat consumption with a risk of cardiovascular disease. Actually, there's some challenging evidence now from the British Medical Journal that maybe that isn't the case. High saturated fat may not raise the type of cholesterol that gives you cardiovascular disease. You can look at Sweden as well, where they've actually changed their nutritional advice, saying that high-fat, low-carb diets aren't necessarily as bad for you than other diets. So could fat become not necessarily a hero, but less of a villain in 2014? I think that's going to be very exciting. Might need some more research to back it up, but that could be huge news, particularly for people in the dairy or meat industries. On there, equally, then the flip side is, well, what does that mean for sugar? And I think lots more pressure on artificial sugars and the opportunity for artificial sugars, and the debate about stevia. Is it natural? Is it not natural? So that's going to be an interesting product story for 2014. Could be an opportunity for products such as agave or honey.
The final big prediction we're making is based around some legislation we're going to see come in at the end of the year. There's some new EU legislation coming in, which is going to change the kind of labelling which energy drinks have to put on them in regards to their caffeine content. And that's really going to be marked up and flagged up to consumers. So we're already seeing a lot of growth in sort of natural alternative versions of that, products with kale in, products with spinach in, a lot of sort of green, natural, functional energy drinks which rehydrate and what have you, but they don't have any sort of chemicals or the additives which the current crop of products do. And again, when we talk to consumers, we've got a lot of data, 3/4 of consumers talking about how they're very interested in products which would be natural versions of current energy drink products. So we're already seeing quite a lot of products launched on the market, and we expect to see a huge amount of those coming on the stream in the next.
So there we have it. Mintel's top highlights for 2013 and a sneak peek at what could be the top news and trends for 2014. I've been Nathan Gray, reporting for Food Navigator and Nutri Ingredients.